firstly, Robert, I know this is a big question, but can you help me understand what the film is about?
Well, trying to figure out how to answer this without giving too much away, but I think it's basically about different groups of people trying to own time and battling over the nature of reality. I think that's probably the simplest terms.
And it really is hard to simplify this kind of concept, isn't it?
What's that?
It really is hard to simplify it, isn't it? In a movie like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because when I first read it, it's kind of like I know nothing about theoretical physics, and then trying to read like a lot of Richard Feynman and various other different physicists' books. Like it's like when you try to even understand it at all, it is all completely elusive. You can't really. None of it is particularly tangible, obviously, and for Chris to make this sort of propulsive action thriller out of something that's like really, really complicated to understand. I mean, it's sort of amazing that he chose to undertake it in the first place.
And Robert, there's a lot of mystery surrounding your character. What can you tell us about him?
He is it's a colleague of John David's. John David's character is called Protagonist. Well, he's not actually called Protagonist. He's known as Protagonist in the movie. And he's, I don't know how to give anything away. Everything I say gives it away. It's he's an English guy, kind of works for English Secret Service or like MI6 or something like that. But you kind of don't really know, and you sort of vaguely find out in the movie.
I love that. Vaguely find out. Okay, cool. And some of these action sequences are crazy. What was it like filming them?
I mean, really fun. I mean, most of the time, if you're coming in as an actor, you come in, the entire sequence is shot with stunt people, and then you get you just do like a close up being like the end of something, which is really boring and kind of. It's a kind of bit on this. We got to do like a ton of stuff ourselves, just kind of amazing. I mean, we did jumping off a 26-story building in Mumbai. I mean, we're like doing a ton of car chase sequences, and we're shooting a lot of it. A lot of the stuff we have IMAX cameras on the car, and kind of it's just me and John David in the car a lot of the time. We had amazing stunt drivers for a lot of the difficult stuff as well. But like a ton of it we were doing ourselves, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. And Elizabeth, what was it like working with Christopher Nolan?
Sort of extraordinary in all the senses. I think that sometimes, and I don't want this to sound totally bizarre, but sometimes I would be on set and I would be looking at him and thinking, this all came from your brain, which is kind of insane, really, when you think about some of the complexity of the sequences, and also this sense of surrender and trust, really, that he knows exactly which piece of the puzzle you're making. I mean, the car sequence that we shot in Estonia, for instance, we shot it for weeks and weeks, and every tiny little minuscule piece that might take us an hour or a day to shoot, and I'm just sort of repeating some action that feels completely counterintuitive to my body and my brain, but knowing that he knows exactly what it should look like and where it fits. And it's just kind of a very sort of, the whole thing was quite extraordinary.
Hey Lisa, here was some Christopher Nolan trivia. Did you know that following Insomnia, his next project was going to be a Howard Hughes biopic starring Jim Carrey? Now, Nolan had the screenplay written, calling it one of his best things he's ever written, but once it became apparent Martin Scorsese was making his own Hughes biopic, The Aviator, Nolan reluctantly tabled his script and took up directing Batman Begins. Now, do you like my shirt? You can get one for yourself in the link in the description.